Aloha, everybody. So, as they introduced me, I'm Angel. As they said, I'm a leader, a worship leader, a college student, Korean, and Filipino. But I'm also a college dropout, a victim, a foster child. A foster child. I remember when I first got taken by Child Protective Services. I was plunged into a world of complete darkness. Adults that were supposed to help children would lie and put me to the side. I remember praying each night for a better day, but it never came. I left God's side and accepted the world I saw in front of me, a world of pain and darkness, a world where I had to survive with a mask and a pocket full of lies. I constantly ran away from my past of various types of abuse from family. When I graduated high school, I was 17. I was kicked out of the foster home I was in, and I searched for a place to live, not wanting to be homeless, because I had already experienced years of stealing and selling myself to survive financially. I didn't want to go back to that life. That was when my social worker took a leap of faith, risking her job, and she told me about a Christian community house. And I took these opportunities simply because I wanted to just avoid the street life as much as possible. And that was when I met Brenda Wong, at the time area director of Intervarsity Hawaii. Upon moving in, she would constantly ask me, "Hey, do you want to come to Intervarsity?" And I'd be all like, "What's that?" And then she would say, and she's like, "Oh, it's like a college fellowship for Christians." And I first thought, I was like, sounds like something for nerds. So I said no. However, many of you guys know Brenda, and she is the most persistent woman I have ever met. She asked me every single Thursday, "Hey, do you want to come to Intervarsity? Do you want to come to Intervarsity this week? I'll give you a ride. There's food." And I kept telling her no, but she asked so much times I got annoyed, and I came with a plan, which was I would go just once, say I didn't like it, and then never go back again. Obviously, I'm here, right? I went, and the first time I entered the room, it was just everyone just really genuinely wanted to know me, and coming from like a foster care background, that's something I never experienced before. And the staff that night, Jason, he's out there somewhere. Right there. He was talking about like Peter and the boat and Jesus, and at the end he asked like if we would take Jesus's hand into a life with him, and I was just like, it was dark and everyone was closing their eyes, and I stood up and I was like, "Yes, Jesus, I'll go back to you," and I've been here since then. And since then, acquaintances in Intervarsity became friends, and some became family. The first family to show me what unconditional love is, something I grew up without. Also in the past, I used to read the Bible as like information, like, oh, you're not supposed to do this and not supposed to do that, or you're gonna go to hell. But in Intervarsity, the words started to hit my heart. And it was the first time the Bible ever had a real connection to me, where I felt this is part of my life, and I really started following it, and I started leading my own Bible study and reaching out to others. And it was just been such an exciting and powerful and healing experience for me. And even now, I'm still healing, still growing and learning. After dropping out of college, with God's help, I was able to go back to college again and even get like straight A's for one semester. But unfortunately, this semester, I placed myself in a situation where practically I'm failing all my classes, like the opposite of last semester. And since this is like the second time it happened, I was filled with fear, shame, and I was just like, the enemy was just like, oh man, they're gonna be so disappointed in you. Like, you've come so far and now you're like hit the ground again. And I was just like, oh yeah, you're right. But God reached me out and he's like, hey, like, you gotta get up and tell Intervarsity because they love you and they really care for you. And God was just reminding me of all the love that Intervarsity's given me. And I was like, yeah, you know what, you're right. Like, they care for me, so I should tell them the truth. So I told them, and they greeted me with such grace and such love. I was like almost crying. Actually, I cried later on, but not in front of them. And it was just, this is the kind of family that Intervarsity is, where like you fail again, and they're just like, they give you grace and they give you love, but they also give you direction. And, like with God, with community, and with the Word, all things are really possible. Amen.